Good evening. Today is Monday, May 11th. Thank you for joining us for another virtual town hall. I will start with a recap of the COVID-19 cases here in Ohio. We're now looking at 24,777 cases in Ohio, with 63 cases here in Greene County. I want to thank you for all that you've done to help flatten the curve. It has worked, but we're not out of the woods. We must continue to take all the necessary precautions, wearing masks, going out for business as you need to go out for. So please keep doing all that you're doing. It's helping to flatten the curve and keeping their case numbers. And before I go any further, I want to say happy belated birthday to all the mothers out there. I don't think any of us will be here without the moms. So thank you. And happy belated Mother's Day. As the state has gradually started lifting restrictions, Yellow Springs is no exception, and we have upwards of 13 businesses opening tomorrow. While there are many different perspectives on what reopening looks like, I think we can all agree that we should move slowly and take all the necessary precautions to conduct business as safely as we can. Now, we're doing our part as best as we can, and that is why we made a large purchase of hand sanitizer liquid to provide to the businesses that have not been able to secure hand sanitizer. Today, we conducted our first distribution, and we gave away more than 58 bottles of hand sanitizer to over 25 businesses. So we're doing our part as best as we can, and we continue to support our businesses and our residents with our resources and providing guidance and helping out in all the ways that we can. So we continue to do all that work with safety for both residents and visitors in our community. Now, I'm encouraged to see so many local businesses taking all the precautions that they can to ensure a safer work environment for their employees, a safer shopping experience for their customers. Now, you also know that some businesses have decided not to open until June, and I applaud them for being able to wait that long. But I also recognize that not all business owners and businesses are in the position to wait until June to open, as their business is their only source of income, and without it, they're not able to put food on the table for their families. So with that in mind, I encourage you to continue to be kind and try to be understanding of the different perspectives and needs in our community. I have a quick announcement on changes to our virtual town hall schedule. Starting May 18th, we will move to hosting one town hall per week. And now we'll hand over the floor to my colleagues. Joining me tonight is Colin Altman, Fire Chief, Police Chief Brian Carlson, Karen Winchell, Yellow Springs Chamber President. Chief Altman, welcome.
Thank you very much, Josue. Excuse me. Miami Township Fire Chief Colin Altman coming to you live from the 99th Precinct here in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. I'm here with Captain Raymond Holt, Detective Christine Cagney, Chief Clancy Wiggum, Officer Pete Malloy, and oddly enough, WYSO General Manager Luke Dennis. And we're here today working on business reopening plans. Karen Wintrow sent us here because she said, if you're going to reopen business, you might as well be in a police precinct in New York City somewhere. So as businesses get ready to reopen across the state and right here in Yellow Springs, it is again important to remember, as Josue said, the businesses that are choosing to open are doing so because they probably need to open. So when we go shopping out in Yellow Springs, the Green, the Oregon District, the Short North in Columbus, or even Springfield's beautiful Upper Valley Mall, we ask that you remember, be patient and be kind. A lot of people don't want to be in the shops either, working there, but they have to be. So be kind, be patient. Remember to wear your mask. They're wearing them in the West Wing of the White House now, so you can wear yours. Do it, people. Cover your cough. Social distance, 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart. Wash your hands, as Philadelphia former mayor Michael Nutter would say, wash your damn hands, sorry. And then remember that all these businesses are following important guidelines that have been established by ODH. So they are safe, they're sanitary, and they're clean. So as you go to retail outlets starting tomorrow, and you go to hair salons and barbershops on Friday and dine outdoors on Friday, All these places are taking extraordinary steps to make sure that you, your family, and your friends are safe when they go in, when you go in. Also, so their employees are safe. So please go out, shop a little bit, eat a little bit, maybe drink a little bit, just a little. Have a good time, but be patient and be kind with people. Very important. Now you're probably wondering why I'm coming to you beside the fact that Karen said I had to go to this precinct. I'm coming to you from a police precinct today because it is National Police Week. National Police Week started yesterday and it runs through Saturday. And this is a time, one of the many times, but this is the official time where we can give our thanks to the women and men in blue who protect and serve our communities every single day. I have had the distinct pleasure and honor to work with a lot of wonderful sheriff's deputies, police officers, and ODNR natural resource officers over the years. These people do a great job. They have had my back on more than one occasion, and we can't thank them enough. All the people we work with at Miami Township, Greene County Sheriff's Office, the Ohio State Highway Patrol, ODNR law enforcement, and of course, most importantly, our good friends at Yellow Springs Police, from Chief Carlson to Officer Nipper, and everyone in between. The men and women there at YSPD are people we should be proud of and should be proud to have protecting our community. So thank you guys. We love you. We appreciate you. Back to you, Josue.
Thank you so much, Chief. Yes, I'm honored to serve with Police Chief Carlson and everyone in his team. So happy Police Week, Chief, and all of our members and all the policemen in the country. Now we hear from Police Chief Brian Carlson. Chief.
Thank you, Josue. Thank you, Chief Altman, for the kind words. We will be flying flags in Yellow Springs on May 15th at half staff. I just wanted to share with everybody tonight a few words, and I will be very brief, but I saw a column, I think it was, is it John Blake on CNN last week on the internet, and some things that kind of struck a chord with me that I thought if you missed this piece, I could share with you. And I highlighted a few. If I missed some, forgive me. Many of the things that our country learned in the past from traumatic events, the Great Depression, wars, are the many things that we hold dear and practice to this day in our beautiful village. Some of these things seem to have gotten lost over the years, but these were the highlights of the takeaway from the article. We learned how to get by on very little. We learned that you don't need a lot of money to bring joy to your kids. We learned to reinvent ourselves. This is particularly true for me and some close friends who are furloughed and have taken on some new trades and are extremely gifted. Shout out to Mike Duncan. Stick with the welding, brother. You are extremely talented at that. We learned to take business risks that paid off. We learned how to look out for one another. We learned how to accept strangers. We learned not to fear our political change. We learned to believe in the future, and we learned and relearned empathy for those who are less fortunate than us. Please come out tomorrow, don your masks in support of our amazing local businesses. The YSPD will be out. We'll be around on foot throughout the day. If you see anybody, say hi and engage, and everyone have a safe, wonderful day tomorrow. Back to you, Josue.
Thank you, Chief. And now we will hear from Karen Wintrow, YS Chamber President. Karen.
Hi, Josue. Thank you all. And thanks to everything that the three of you who have already spoken have been doing for the business community. Josue in the village, thank you so much for the hand sanitizer. I got a lot of questions about that from the businesses because I think we all know how difficult it is to find right now. Chief Altman, for the inspections you're doing of the businesses who are opening, giving them their occupancy numbers so that we can get their signage made. And Chief Carlson, for all of the work you've been doing to help the businesses already. And I know it is just going to become more challenging for you and your officers. We know how patient you are, and we certainly hope that Our citizens will be as patient as you all are. If there are any concerns that they have, please call the Yellow Springs Police Department rather than trying to engage anybody in a conversation, whether they're not wearing a mask or whatever it might be. Mask on YS is the message. You'll see those signs in all of the businesses, certainly the ones that are open. I believe that the village has banners coming soon, street banners that will be coming soon. We have large signs that are going to come tomorrow that are going to be installed that say "Be kind" and have the mask symbol that we've been using. So we are really trying to communicate as much as possible to people, certainly inside Yellow Springs, but I think most villages have gotten the message, but people visiting Yellow Springs, that when you come here, please wear your mask to protect others and to protect yourself. And we feel that by getting the message out there universally, that the expectation will be there. We're not identifying individual businesses and whether they're requiring masks or not, because we want the message to be wear a mask in Yellow Springs. As Josue said, there are somewhere around 13 to 15 businesses opening tomorrow, in addition to the ones that are already open, that have been open as essential businesses. I need to make contact with the restaurants to see what their approach is going to be to reopening. As of Friday, restaurants can open their patios. Again, but physical distancing has to be maintained. And then on the 21st, they can open the inside seating, again, though, with physical distancing. Those are things that Chief Altman will be able to help them with. I don't know yet who is planning on opening their space. But that will be information that I will be getting this week. I spent last week just trying to get track of what's happening with the retail. So the retailers that are open, as Colin said, it's a real need. Our businesses are suffering. So the ones that really feel the need to open are doing that. And with all of the safety measures intact, they want themselves, their employees, and their customers to be safe. So we appreciate you supporting them, and maybe do a little bit of shopping tomorrow at some of the open businesses. Thanks, Josue.
Karen, thank you so much for all that you're doing for our business community. All right, we will now open the floor for questions. We have 2 questions that have come in, and I'll start with the first one. I think this is more for Village Council, and I'll answer where I can. The first question is, I've been hearing conflicting responses from village officials on this question, and I would like some clarity. Can the village of Yellow Springs pass an ordinance requiring masks to be worn in public to slow the spread of the coronavirus? If Village Council can pass such a law, why have they decided not to? If the village cannot pass this law, then do they know who can? On the first part of this question, there's no easy answer to this, but I think that we've seen from the state officials that the Governor DeWine, he had the legal authority to do this and decided not to. Our Director of Public Health, Dr. Amy Acton, in her public health order, she could address this issue requiring face mask, and that office decided not to. Also, we have the Greene County Public Health that has the authority to require such a mandate, and they've decided not to. So the onus is being put on the municipalities to do this, or to pass an ordinance or require wearing a mask. Now, can we do it? I think there's some legal gray area in this subject, and certainly the municipality, we could pass an ordinance, the council could pass an ordinance, but it's a matter of how enforceable is it, and does it hold up if it is legally challenged. So there's some gray area there. We're not sure. of all those details. I'm certainly not one to speak to all the details, but we've looked into it, and we started to look into it because it has been an area of interest for our residents. It's been a recent topic that our residents wanted to have this discussion. So certainly all members of council are thinking about this. It was a subject of conversation at our last council meeting, and I think it would continue to be a topic of discussion for council meetings. But it's been a recent topic. So I'm sure council will continue to consider the matter, and depending on where our residents are and what the demand for this is, and also what behavior we're seeing on the ground, that may determine how council will move on this subject. Any of my colleagues want to add to any of that? I know there was the question specific to council, but I think that there are other issues.
Josue, I can add one thing. Personally, I don't feel that additional policing would be in the spirit that Yellow Springs and I'm trying to achieve with our department. I do want to remind everyone the best thing we can do is protect one another by wearing masks, but also staying away from any activity that we see does not fit the protocol that the health department, CDC, and the governor are recommending. Thank you.
Thank you, Police Chief. Anything from
Josue, I'll go ahead and just add just briefly your sentiments. I think you laid it out perfectly, that we're following. This is a medical issue. We could it's a medical issue following that's handed down. And I think you've touched on all the of state administration that this issue has gone through. And I think at the end of the day, the last point that you made is to see what the behavior looks like. Everyone in every capacity is encouraging everyone involved to do the right thing. I would submit that we go ahead and move forward with the next steps of reopening, continuing to encourage everyone again to do the right thing and expect proper behavior and compliance. So, I don't think we want to create a problem where there isn't one, but just remain hopeful, echoing again what everyone else said, be kind, be respectful, etc. And Chief Carlson just said, we're not looking for another opportunity to police folks' behavior. So I think, again, just following the guidance that we've gotten, take sort of a hands-off approach with respect to mandating, but certainly within, if you apply all the rules that have been set forth, almost every store would have to change the way they do business and change the behavior, maintaining social distancing and making requirements as that business sees fit. So I think we're in a good place, and I would just submit again, wait and see what things look like next week.
Thank you so much, Kevin. That was Kevin Stokes, council member. I also want to remind our residents that we have this Mask On and Yellow Springs effort that Karen and several members of the team are leading, that we hope that we will have more meaningful impact if this becomes an educational campaign and it's not forced on people. So I feel encouraged that the campaign it's going to encourage folks to wear their mask when they can, and I expect a positive return and an impact from this campaign. Okay, now we'll move on to our second question. Have any local restaurants reached out to the village zoning office to inquire about creative ways to expand outdoor seating at their establishments? What kind of flexibility can the village consider to quickly address any issues at local restaurants? I'm on the first part of the question. I'm not aware of local restaurants that have reached out through the zoning office to see what can be done. But we have been reached out by other members in the community, other business owners and residents, on what can the village do to accommodate more open seating or outdoor seating for not just the restaurants, but for the general public. So we started to have that conversation. We're not in any position to announce any plans, but we are aware that businesses and residents are interested in this concept or want more outdoor seating amenities. So we're going to see how that what level of interest there is for that, and we'll see what we can do around that. On the second part of the question, what kind of flexibility can the village consider to quickly address any issues? I think you've heard it from Fire Chief Colin Ottman. We're pretty flexible doing inspections and being responsive. You heard from Police Chief Brian Carlson. We are very proactive about our engagement with residents and business owners. So if there are any issues from a public safety perspective, we are equipped and ready to address those issues as they come. From a government process or administrative process, we are flexible. We respond to requests fairly quickly. Earlier in this pandemic, we had a request from one of our restaurants that was selling food as a carry out or delivery, and they submitted a petition to allow for a drive-through window at their establishment. We turned around that request within 2 days, and we approved the what is a conditional use. We approved this permit on a temporary basis, given the medical emergency, the pandemic that we're facing. We thought it was feasible for us to grant the permit on a temporary basis so that this business could sell more food and provide an essential service to our community. So we have the flexibility. We have the team that can respond rather quickly to requests. So I'm confident that with our public safety team and our administration, that we can handle any additional requests for such business activities. Third question, is the village going to communicate with Xenia Municipal Court to ask them to further delay evictions and to have leniency in those proceedings? Council and village manager previously said they would do so. Yes, this week I will be sending a letter to the municipal courts to raise the concern and ask for leniency. So we will take care of this week, and we're happy to circulate the letter that we send the municipal courts. Fourth question, are you keeping the electric signs up? If yes, for how long? And if not, then why? Yes, we will keep the digital signs up. We've updated the signage. So we added the mask NYS language. We've added language on the public restrooms. So we will continue those and to have those in place for another month. Okay. Do my colleagues want to add anything? I'm sorry. Okay. All right, Philip, do we have any more questions? Okay. All right, that's it for the questions. Karen, we appreciate all you've done with the business community. I'm encouraged by seeing so many businesses want to take all the precautions that they can. I think that's something that our residents should know, that while our businesses, many of them have the need to open, they're not ignoring the public health concerns. They're taking all the precautions that they can. So I've spoken to a few myself. Many are requiring face masks. Others are not in a position to do so. But I feel confident that all of the business owners are taking all the precautions that they can. Karen, is that your sentiment as well?
Absolutely. Many of them are actually selling face masks. So there is this, we're trying to create kind of a coolness, a fashion sense, or make them authentic to Yellow Springs. So just as everybody already has special feelings about Yellow Springs, we're hoping the face masks will take on that whole aura of Yellow Springs. So, and that when they come here, they'll want to go home with the Yellow Springs face mask. So and we've had the opportunity to get that out in mass media, and certainly on our Facebook page. It's already been broadcast on our Facebook page, which reaches over 50,000 people, and will continue to do that. So it's the message that we want everybody to hear, and just how much we appreciate our businesses. And to everybody, please consider, if a business chooses to not require masks, they have a good reason. And I don't want to see there be this, oh, this business requires a mask and this business doesn't. I think all of our businesses are doing what is right for them and what they think is right for the community. They're all in it for the community also. So please support everyone in whatever their decisions are.
Josue,
Yes, Jalen?
this is Jalen Rowe, and I would just like to say something as a citizen of Yellow Springs. Many of you know that my family has been here for over 7 generations. And through that time, we've seen many, many challenges. And I think one of the awesome things about living here in Yellow Springs is that we understand as a group of people that it really does take a village. And my parents were entrepreneurs. We've had 4 businesses in Yellow Springs. And we, even back in the 60s, have been a town of tourism where people come to just really kind of exhale. And my grandmother, I remember my grandmother saying that back in the 70s, that the last person in Yellow Springs tries to close the door so the next person doesn't get in. And she says, that's got to change. And I want to just say to everyone that we are open. We are a community that we always build on what's strong and not what's wrong. So I'm encouraging everyone to be open and be opened up about this. If you can't personally do that, that's okay. You don't have to come down. You don't have to be around. But I think that we are better for it. I have an old African proverb that I always say, that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with others. And I want to just encourage all of us, let's go together. Let's make this work. Thank you.
Jalen, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jalen. We really need it at this time. You know, we're in this together, and together we should get through this. And you know, there's more than one reasons why so many folks flock to Yellow Springs, why they want to be here in Yellow Springs. And this is for many of the residents, the communities around us. This is where they feel home. You know, they sleep, they live somewhere else, but this is where they feel home. And that's what Yellow Springs does for folks. It certainly does for me. You know, I came here as a student, and the opportunity to come back to Yellow Springs, I jumped on it. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, we have a comment that's come in. I think it's worth calling it out and bringing attention to it. One of our viewers on YouTube said, Pride face mask of various designs would be nice since Pride Month is approaching and events are already being canceled. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that we should have our own Pride YS mask, and I'm sure it's only a matter of time before it hits the market. So I welcome the opportunity to buy one and see folks wearing it around town. Okay, all right. Well, that's it for questions. And with that, I think we should close our meeting. So to all of our viewers, thank you for joining us again for another virtual town hall. Know that we're all here together. We're here to help. We're here as a resource. So don't hesitate to reach out. We look forward to this next phase of the COVID-19 pandemic. I am confident that as we've made it this far and helping flatten the curve, we are going to get through the next phase of this pandemic. So let's hang in there together. Have a good night.
Thank you, Josue.
Thank
Bye.
you.